This is your daily market recap for Monday, January 23rd, 2023. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max, eXp Realty, aka The Trade Night, and this is your daily market recap for January 1st, 2023. Hopefully you're surviving. Been a long day. Talked about the market volatility up and down. You know, the VIX in the low 20s. We're assuming highs might be in, but could the VIX get lower? Questions you have to ask yourself. Remember, the trash floats last. Just keep all of these notes in mind, because I think a lot of people, the newer folks that I follow, and again, not follow, but the newer traders that you can see the sentiment is getting very excited about a new bull market. And could they be right temporarily? Yes, absolutely. So try to stay solvent. Try to be smart, trade around your positions. Do not be all or nothing gamblers where you try to have to hit a home run. Because again, if you did not get in near the lows or you're not shorting at the highs through layering processes, then you're essentially chasing. So again, appreciate everybody. Hope they like the new update of the Discord room. Might open it up at some point. I typically try to keep it pretty private, trying to help people who want to learn, not people who are just sitting here going, tell me the answer. How do you do that? What's the answer? I don't want to work. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. Nah, I mean, the goal is you want to be a student of the game. If you really want to be excellent at trading, and it doesn't have to be anything, excellent at anything, you're going to have to spend more than 5 minutes and read one book and spend, minimal amounts of effort. Like, that's just not how it is. You want to be excellent at something, you got to go after it full blast. And that's what this room is for. Twitter, hit me up if you want to get in. Hit me on the message. Always posting what's going on, what I'm thinking, thoughts, processes, updates, especially for the people not in the Discord room. If you're newer as well, follow, like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. If you hit the notification bell, you will get the notifications of these videos. Do them, the lives, typically 2 or 3 a week. Check out the educational videos. I mean, a lot of people don't understand the repeating mechanisms of the market. And you can get into, there's 55, 56 of these things, and they all have an individual different purpose that might overlap potentially, but signals, what the market's doing, seasonality, repeating formations, things to look for. I mean, it's all there. So when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. All right, let's just jump into it. Bitcoin. Oh, you're not going to let me do it? Yeah, you are. Okay. We talked about this 21,000 level being a support resistance zone. That's cool. Got over it. Kind of hugging out here against what? High volume highs, high volume lows. Love to retest because they're the points of control for the market makers, right? There's going to be a lot of what probably at these levels too? Dark pool money. It's very logical, right? So, could you come back into 25,000? Yeah. Do we believe Bitcoin is in a bull market? Yeah, man, maybe. Potentially. I mean, again, we talk about lower lows and lower highs. Now it's bouncing. That's cool. A slightly lower high. But this isn't the first time you've seen higher highs off the lows to follow later. You got to trade it. People are going to say, well, I'm buying this for the next run to 175,000. Whatever. You pick a number out of your butt. Doesn't matter. Will it get there in a straight line? No. Good things change. Yeah. So just the easy money in Bitcoin was when the Feds printed endless money and stimulated the economy. We're not there yet. Yet being the key word. I don't think we are there yet. Anywhere close. So what's the upside? It's probably going to be capped at a certain price point. Your guess is good as mine. Potentially, I would say the mid 20,000s, or you got multiple day range of tightness. It's pretty simple. Go with. Remember, we love multi-day ranges, and this is the thing. It's almost comical because I talk to day traders and they're like looking at something. I'm like, what do you think the damn difference is between the day and the 10-minute and the 5-minute, whatever hourly? It's all the same. It's repeating patterns, right? It's all repeating patterns. So at that point, let it run. All right, it's not gonna. All right, oil, cool. Oil, we've said, watch the levels. I personally think the Feds, we said this a bazillion times, when oil starts rising, the Feds' ideas of lower CPI and being able to actually manage the market, hard. It's really difficult, right? If oil starts rising, they can't stop raising rates. Here's the green movement conundrum, right? You want green power, but do you want higher interest rates and higher power prices? Like, who can afford that? Clearly the rich. So that's why I look at it as a conundrum, and you can call it something else. I got to be PC here on YouTube, but yeah, we'll see what happens here in the low 80s. That's the next resistance zone.
I personally think that, we're obviously going to have to refill the SPR. They bought February 80 contracts near term, obviously. Getting sloppy and choppy. It's tough to know. I mean, I personally think if you get oil back into the mid 60s, we jump all over that. At this price point, you're going to have resistance. So just keep that in mind. I mean, at this point, I don't know. So I'm just at this, I don't know, junction, just a little unsure, because for it to really blast off, do we have, I don't know, what do we have a catalyst? Ukraine? Is that going to help get inflation down? Is that going to help the feds do what? Scott, China demand? Yeah, we know. China's demand, they've got it. Keep in mind, Scott, they've got a plethora of Russian oil. So they're not sitting on shortages. So that's, again, it has to be something geopolitical, in my opinion. So I would just be careful with that, because everyone's saying this is the thing, and I'm not trying to call you out, but you're a fact that your insights typically come from what? Mass media, right? And I see the same things you're looking at, right? When I see them pumping Chinese demand coming back online, yeah, we get it. This is not like the first day we've heard that. So keep that in mind. Nat gas, you're welcome. Right? This kind of is trying to bottom. I don't know. I mean, I struggle with natural gas because obviously it's a byproduct of oil. We know that. People talk about it. You got the LNG ports not reopening. So it's like they're burning it off potentially. Who knows what they're going to do to try to get the, get the inventory down. Long story short, we've said that this price action is stretching, right? Stretching price action after a straight line move is going to usually lead to what? And then especially with commodities, what do we say? I mean, go watch the previous video. I said, wait for at least a 20 handle on the January contract. And here you go. It's when the last bounce was last year. I'm not surprised. Some sort of like choppy, sloppy action. It just is what it is. And so moving forward, I mean, you pick your poison here. If the market does slam, I could see people who are short natural gas unloading their positions to go elsewhere. And that's sometimes how you get short squeezes in certain names going into market drops. Because think about why. The people who are, the historically short part of the market making system and or players will take their money from trash and move it into names that'll actually drop more as well. So if you're not familiar with this, you either trust it or you don't. That's just part of the game. Because think about it, the money's always rotating. We talk about this all the time. Money is not destroyed. It rotates. Everyone think, oh, the market's tanking. Everyone's losing money. No. Not everyone's losing money. It's just everyone who is perceived to be trading in the market is getting their ass kicked. Excuse my language. The dollar. Let's just talk about the anomalies where you have to be a little bit of confused / careful. The dollar bottoming under the trend line at the 50% fib. Right? You got really close to what I'd consider like a swing area, a little mini volume at price node. At this point, I think people are shorting the dollar in response to what? What? Does anyone have a guess? Debt ceiling stuff. That's my anticipation. That's where this a last little bit of exacerbation. Did I say? No, I didn't say. I said exacerbation. Keep that in mind. So I would watch it here. Could you get back a little lower? I mean, the Fed's next week talking. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Like, chop is part of the market. The people that think straight line moves all the time are day traders. And day trading, straight line moves, you can kind of assume that, but you have to trade around it. Well, swing trading, layering into a position and putting a trade on as it creates a floor or a ceiling is much harder. That's where the big money is. People tell you, oh, it's day trade. I'm like, all right, you can't put all of your assets into something expecting instant gratification. That's called gambling. By definition, it's called gambling. And now again, when you gamble and you win, great. When you gamble and you lose, bad. Bad, right? It's simple stuff. But again, all very fundamental, easy stuff. TLT, we talked about it making lower high. Now it has a little mini gap down today. Long wick. Tough to tell. Well, the market like higher rates. Well, the Feds are cutting. Well, is the market again, right? The Fed, the market, bond market, smart. TLT, inverse relationship to bond yields. TLT is going down. You gotta have a little bit of awareness that, okay, well, the softness priced in, or inflation's coming back, price in. Good question. You don't know. This is where probabilities, and you have to take down the evidence. And most day traders can only see 1 minute, 5 minute candle. They can't think about the bigger perspective, the bigger moves. And so this is where you have to, write in your journal what you're seeing, what you should expect, because the market doesn't move independent of all the pieces. It's like a sum of all its parts. The VIX, we talked about it wasn't going to sustain there. We talked about the bounce and then rally last week. Now what? Tight action. Here we're going, oh, the VIX is down and the market's ripping, or barely down. Okay. That can be a sign as well, but I mean, personally, you got to look at the multi-day range now. You need to make higher highs and higher lows. Now, can we confirm higher lows? Yeah, I guess you can, but you're not making higher highs, so what does that lead, right? Leads you for more information. This is where, again, day trading versus swing trading, days. Trading around positions, right? Doing what the market makers do. They trade around their damn positions. They're not sitting around. Now, again, certain ones in the algorithms, the computers are taking advantage of such, scraping pennies, but that's not where the big money is. People just don't believe it. SPY. You want to talk about a fun close. Closed right at the 0.618. Decent little wick, not huge, but it got up to 402, 64. Yeah. I mean, I thought we might take a break here because I was like, man, that lines up with the gap and the trend line. Well, what do you have to think about, right? Traps. Market loves traps at the bottom. Oh, it's game over. Oh, it's game on. All right, well, is this another trap or is this some sort of lower high retest? I mean, do we have to get back to 413? Because I keep seeing people saying, well, the trend line broke, so the market has to go. Well, if you're newer to trading, that's what you believe. But we talk about trend lines all the time violating temporarily to what? Trigger traps. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, again, back to basics video. That's on you. I mean, people don't realize like trend lines, support resistance, volume at price zones, fibs, all of these things potentially can be used as traps because the market makers know we're all sitting here going, okay, well, let's watch the market. Let's see. Oh, this is a level that matters. Right? Like, I mean, it's almost funny how naive some people are when it comes to stuff because they're just sitting there going, I must be the only one seeing this. Wrong. No, and that's not the truth. They know that. Remember, they can see your order flow. They can see what you're up to. Right? Especially when you put in limit orders. They know what you're holding. You're not protected. You're not wearing condoms. I'm just kidding. At this point, man, it's really tough to know right here. It's really tough to know. Do we need to go up? Maybe. Remember, we talked about this down here. Everyone was like, oh, the market's over. Like, the third touch was the charm, but then it'd be in the fourth, and then a fifth breakthrough, and then rally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this the trap? Didn't take that. Doesn't that hard to zoom out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then boom. Okay? Do the math. Not even the math, but just notice that. Just notice that. This is not just random stuff. Market loves to play games. So now what? As we've said, watch what happens. Watch for Tuesday. Watch what happens going forward. If it goes higher and you're long, congratulations. Ride it dirty if you have to. If you are short, you hit your stop buttons, right? You hit your stops. And what? You don't chase. You just don't chase. Like, you don't go long chasing the highs. I mean, you say this 1,000 times, but people won't listen. It is what it is. The Qs. What happened here? Well, what happened? Trend line. Uh-oh. I mean, hold on. Does this stretch? Does it make sense? Actually, it makes sense. Look at all the candles forming there. Some lines there. Some there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. So just watch this area. I mean, could it close at it and go higher? Again, the market loves to make you go insolvent before the market actually moves in the direction you think. Because, right, remember, they're priming the minds of the masses. Does this make sense? They're priming the masses to go what? Long and at the highs, short at the lows. That's what they do. That's what they do. And if you don't understand that, I don't know. Remember, trash floats last. Let me sip my little coffee here. Ad inserted. Thank you again for following and supporting. Again, this channel, the money's made to be in trading. It's not the advertising of this stuff, but a little dime here and there doesn't hurt. Just a little bit. You got the 200-day, you got the 50 fib at 294. That's probably the max upside. You would love to see a lower high. But you'd also, if you saw a higher high, you'd like to look like this. Or this, right? This or that. Do I believe the next bull market's coming? People ask me that all the time, and it's like, I've said this, I think, for months now. This potentially could be like the 70s and 80s. Maybe a year I've said this. It's just a choppy range, sloppy mess. As soon as everything looks good, boom, rates go higher. Feds aren't in control. Market pulls back. Things get weak. Feds, might do something different. Market rallies, gets excited. Boom. Repeat, re-rinse, recycle, whatever. IWM. If you have any questions as we're going through this, don't be scared to ask. We talk about it lagging. Well, the QQQ's trash is leading. IWM hits your resistance zone. Watch for lagging. We'll see what happens here. We will see what happens. Now, a lot of people are going cup and handle. Okay. And now, again, if cup and handles were the key to all market moves, all willing, omnipotent moves, then you could say absolutely. But at this point, trade the levels. And again, if you're long, congrats. Like, there's no reason to chase longs here. The only things I'd be looking to do is take profits and look for shorts. And again, that down move could be a day, could be 2 days, 3 days. I don't know. I mean, just, do you think the market's going to break out before the Fed speak? And I've told you once, and I'll tell you this twice, and tell you every day going forward. The market rallying into earnings and into the Fed meeting creates a sell the news event, potentially. Right? Because now the market makers have the liquidity to unload into, while people start realizing things are not going to get better. DIA been lagging, dragging. Once it led for many times, many years. No, I'm just kidding. It was leading in this early winter. Now it's lagging. Now, a lot of that can be to certain names. Yeah. Banks lagging. Be careful, right? Banks lead the market typically. When they don't, you can't really trust it. Remember, everything revolves around financials. Gold. If you are short this, another day, another dollar. I mean, you could have traded it when it hit the 8-day. Watch what happens. And then here's here's like a classic example of just everybody getting stupid excited at the highs, bringing in bulls, right? I mean, it's on a great move. And now the pump, I mean, the pump you up. I mean, I think it was Banff saying this too. I mean, I'm getting, you watch TV and you're just seeing like inflation hedge, buy gold, buy silver. The only time you ever see those commercials is at the highs. They don't show those when gold's at low prices, right? Because retail ain't going to buy it. Just something I've observed over the 20 years of trading gold, that anytime I see a ton of these stupid, like, advertisements. Sorry, I guess getting a call. Be careful, because they're pushing it, right? You don't advertise to buy, you advertise to sell. I say that all the time. That's why you think about the market makers in the news. They're not advertising this stuff to get you to buy for a big winner. No, they're trying to unload onto you. Silver, man, look at that. Gaps down, closes right back at the support. More information. Miners, on a day when the market seems so great. Dust, if you got it in the low 11s, just have your stops. Be 10 cuidado. GDXJ, again, Junior should lead up. Junior, it's not really leading. Keep that in mind. At this point, I don't know. AG, a name that should be ripping and roaring, just makes lower lows and lower highs. What the beep? Doesn't make sense. AEM, chopping. Chop. There you go. Trying to make a new high. That's cool. I mean, technically, yes. Follow through, demanded if you want to believe in it. Newmont, trash monkey. 200-day chopping. I mean, remember, high volume highs, high volume lows, gaps, all that stuff. They love to retest. Here you go. Here's the old VAP chop zone bottom. You go from 37 up to 55 or whatever that piece of junk did. Is he going to chop and pull back? More than likely. PAAS. Here you go. 200-day channel high, or sorry, trend high. One of the trends. Man, this thing had some ugly moves. Now again, the trends we talk about. If you draw them with a ruler and expect them to be perfect, your high is a kite. Doesn't work like that. All right, let's jump into tech. Good old Techer gets tons of it. Again, you gotta love the upgrades at the highs. You know, like nobody's upgrading AMD down here. We told you this buy signal was a professional gap and go. Well, now is it a novice gap? I mean, I guess we should probably like stretch this box. I apologize. I'm trying to shift it because again, the evidence is shifting. To what? I'd probably come on now. Let me get it. There you go. I would watch this area, 75 to 78. 200-day will catch up pretty soon. Keep that in mind. Here's the problem I have with AMD is like, and again, if you're not familiar with AMD, AM Dizzle, it tends to top on big green days. Is this one, right? A novice Gapo, or is it professional? I mean, tech war, who wins? Ain't gonna be the chip companies, right? They're feeding. They're like the frontline soldiers for chips, for tech war. There's a ton of what, right? It's gonna be a ton of inventory. Now we say, oh, they're backed up. Blah, blah. If the economy's slowing, go study the past. Because I'm telling you right now, AMD has many cycles of double-digit, triple-digit, maybe not triple-digit, but double-digit stock back to $2. God forbid you do the homework and study and zoom out. Don't do it. Don't get that advantage, right? The market maker wants you stupid. NVIDIA, here you go. We talked about this one. You could have shorted here, now bounce up. Now, again, when we talked about Friday, like closing at the highs, no me gusta. Now you get into the zone, auto zone. Now you're back at, what, the 1-to-1. Just keep an eye on it. I mean, it's one of those things where climbs the wall of worry. I mean, this is pretty damn steep. Remember, this was a $100 stock of 190. How do you want to justify this? I don't care. Again, be like the market maker. You can make up any reason. Oh, it's up. Oh, look on sale. Future sales. Future PE. Fundamentals. Okay, we'll see what happens. Taiwan semi. Ouch. 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 Comes right into the mid 90s. Doink. We'll see. I mean, again, do we expect this? No. And again, oh, but Dan, you were wrong. Yeah, note to self, put in your notes. Everybody's going to be wrong. Oh, but you were right. All these other, you're only as good as your last trade. Stop it. Don't believe your own hype, man. I'm telling you, don't believe your own hype. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because if you do, you know what's going to happen, right? What's going to happen? You're going to get sloppy. You're going to take gambles. You're going to risk. You're going to start putting yourself ahead of what the market's doing. So we'll see what happens here. I personally, not very happy about today's action, but I had in my mind, if we ran up today, I have to be slightly patient in some of my positions. Now, again, taking some trades and being wrong, this is the hardest part, is like you get the 2-day trade on Taiwan semi. It hasn't been really working. So if you stopped out, congrats. If you're small, you shouldn't have been adding. That was the hardest thing. Is like, all right, if the market's not really sure, then you don't add. I hope that makes sense. Like, you know, they say don't add to a loser. Well, you don't know it's a loser until you get in the trade, but what's the thing that you got to be aware of, right? It's not acting great. Don't short it, right? Like, I've got a decent gold position, but I am not by any means all in short. I mean, I'm eyeing the top, but it's not confirming. Like, it's not, you're not shorting a lower high. Like, that's the better trade, right? Remember, off the top, you get like these reverberations where off the bottom, off the top, you get higher lows, lower highs. Those are the best opportunities because once they fail and everyone's going, oh, fudge, the trade's over. SMH, wow, we thought about this coming into play at some point. Did I believe it? I did not have convictions. Well, we'll see what happens now. You're pretty dang close. You have your Soxus from like the 26, 27 today. Not so good. Not so good. Trade around it. Stop out. Do whatever you got to do to sustain. Like, I don't want to. The hardest part is like laying friends to rest and trading. Burying them, saying they give up or they lost their confidence or, you know, hanging out on the mentality of money board. And I mean, you can see there's folks who have trauma from losing. Trauma from this not working, that not working. I mean, that's part of trading. Let's run through the tech names. Adobes. Chopping. All right, popped up to the 200-day. It's going to fill the gap. Feels like it could be. Apple, we talked about intraday, a pivot point. Got it. We saw that. But the market didn't unload. Well, we'll see what happens here. Because now you're trying to break the downtrends. This wick is half the candle body. So it's like 50-50 in my mind. Like, all right, are you going higher back to the 145s in the 100-day and the fibbies? Let's redraw some fibs. Let's see what's up. If this is the bottom of the move, how high could it roll? Are we at some... Okay, yeah, and there you go. There's a 0.382. What up, playa? Keep an eye on that. That's all you really can say at this point. Do you trust Apple for the long run? Oh, man. This is probably going to be the monster chop name. Again, buying back stock. They don't have a competitive advantage. Their prices of materials going up. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Amazon, we talked about buying this down here and then rallying. Pulls back. I don't know. Just be thoughtful. That's all I can really say. Be thoughtful. At this point, let your winners run. Set your stops, your trailing stops, but also don't be surprised. It's getting a lot of that Chat GPT server talk, which, again, I hate that kind of talk after the fact. Like, when it's early on, cool, write it. But as soon as everybody's talking to it, you got to look around and go, wow, only idiots are still buying this. And then you go, oh, hold on, am I an idiot? Potentially, right? CRM got somebody, I can't remember what institution was, put a stake in on CRM. They bought this and it popped on the news. Pretty sure whoever was involved in this probably sold cover calls today on this gap. That's not ideal. Who knows what their numbers are going to be, but that looks tired. You don't want to break out and just get indecisive on decent volume. So we'll see what happens. More days needed. Guggenheim, we talked about the Hundo Plus level. Wow, that charts didn't save you, son of a biscuit. Yeah, let's see what happens here. I'm having second thoughts about shorting at times, but I'm also looking at it like, man, we're coming to some spots. It's not an easy trade. If you don't want to trade, don't. Wait for a better setup. Could we pop into this 103 zone? Yeah, no doubt. 200-day? No doubt. Is it good that they're laying off people? The market considers such. Meta? Oh, you son of a bitch. Another one. Try and short it in this upper 130s, low 140s. Could this thing run? It's trading at whatever, a cheap PE, but it's not a cheap stock when you look at the growth rates. And again, it's Meta. Like, they make money on marketing, yes. Are they going to grow? Nah, probably not. But I would look at it at this point, in my mind, the upside is kind of contingent upon trash floating. That's how I look at it, and potentially earnings. So, hey, we'll see what happens. Hey, give me 2 seconds. Someone's asking me something. Okay. Yeah, I got a client who's man, we're trying to get this property for a steal. And they're trying to get quotes on things. They're asking me, what do you think of this, and that? Yeah. Get it. Housing, steals, always. Passive income. That's where you get rich. Everyone's like, oh, you get rich trading? No, you don't. You make wealth, but sustainable wealth is making money when you're not working. You don't have to pull the trigger on anything. You don't have to watch these recaps. You sit home, eat Twinkies, and fart on the couch. That's how you make money with passive income. Microsoft, earnings come in mañana, right? Mañana en la mañana, or mañana in the tarde. Or in the, what's the evening? Why do I can't think? Anyway, noche. We'll see what happens. Hit the 0.32, backed off. Remember this short, man. Missed that one. It's like, oh, comes back to the zone, bounces, making a slightly higher high again. I don't really see this following through until you get some sort of earnings results. NDAQ, okay. Whoever shorted this, cool. I love how this is lagging. We've talked about that. NDAQ is absolute dog crap long term because the volumes on the NASDAQ are going to die. Meme stocks dying. That got even thrown in the queues. The tech stocks, they're going to die. Remember, commodity bull market is ultimately what's coming out of all of this. An incredible one. It's not going to be a one-year thing. It's going to be a multi-year bear market for tech, long for materials. MicroStrategy, again, we talked about, you could have bought it down here. High five to you. Throw your boy a tip because that was easy money. Now you're betting on what I would consider, you're squeezing. You're trying to squeeze that lemon or that orange or whatever for more juice. There could be some in there. Tighten it up. But Let's see what happens here. I personally, again, it's just a company, so. Scott, why are you talking? Why are you interrupting with rig, dude? No, we'll go to oil at the end. I mean, if you're pumping your stock, now I just almost want to pull the trigger and short it after hours. Because if you're getting excited about it and you're like pumping it, I mean, you're probably not the only one who feels that way. And I've, just like anyone else, you see me too excited after a big move, you should be nervous. You should be nervous. If I'm like, oh, this is awesome, it's going to continue running. How many times have you had the freaking floor pulled out from under you, the rug, whatever? You feel like you're all of a sudden you just jumped out of a plane without a parachute. Like, that happens. That's what the market's really good at doing. Netflix tried to get some love on this in the 340 post earnings. I mean, their earnings were absolute dog crap. But again, stay solvent. Here you go. Old gap area, back test the trend line. Did we see it going this high? No. But we did see it going up to here. We were right about some things. Again, everyone's like, on a day you're not perfect, everyone thinks you're an idiot. That's the nature of the game. You put your plays out there every day for everyone, you're going to be criticized. We'll see what happens here. Because again, I mean, they're spending $200 per new subscriber. Okay, that's a good business model. Roblox, congrats again. If you bought it down here, we high-fiving all the way to the bazank, and then it bounces, and it gets the news on its metrics. Pulls back, fills the gap, said you could play the gap. See what happens here. See what happens. Tesla, for the love of God, it hit it. It hit our upside target trend line, whatever you want to talk about, in the 140s, fibbies. Can it go higher? I mean, we got Tesla on the docket, too, for earnings. Is that Wednesday after the close? Yeah. Miércoles. This thing, again, if you go look at it, not surprised it bounced. I mean, it's funny how at the lows, everyone's freaking out, panicking. We're talking about buying it. It rises. Now you get to get full move now. But, I mean, I'll take the 10, 15 points trading it. It continues higher. Cool. Remember, this is a retail name. What does that mean, Dan? It's probably going to be stuck for a while because everybody and their mom wants to buy it and still wants to buy it. I don't remember everyone just giving up. I mean, when did StockTwits go, it's over? Not once. X. Man, I got to move quicker. X. Chopping at the range highs. Again, materials getting a little tired up here. Oh, but China. All right, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Nucor, same thing. Hitting up in the resistance. Ten cuidado. VALE. Names we've liked. Getting a little tired up here. Market's ripping. They're not. Copper. Arrow. Getting a little tired. Looks tired. Let's pull up Freeport McMoran real quick. I'd like to check these out. Chop, top, hop, whatever you want to say. Getting stuck. Watch what happens here. You know, CCJ. Congratulations. Close at the high of the day. Now, again, we talked about holding down here. Bouncing. Broke over. We'll go check StockTwits. Go check FinTwit. You're coming into the backside of the old trend line. Everybody's excited again. Uranium's the future. It's always been the future. Remember that. CF. Think this would be rallying. Remember, I have dirty intentions to get it back down in the 80. Again, love ag names. You're going to need to eat, son, in the next bull market. CF, Mosaic. Again, talked about taking profits. Praying for the low 40s. NTR. Again, these names, just dead money. Not full participation in the market. We'll see here. Chopping. That could be, I'm not a big fan of big green retests with dojis. That could lead to left-right combos with cheese. If you know where that's from, drop a comment. Alcoa. Again, we talk about the reason why you take profits or the profits get taken. They come out with guidance and talked about it hitting our resistance zone. God, you had one day. It almost looked like 1 hour. Brutal. Market is not friendly. It loves to screw you, me, and everyone else listening over all the time. It's rather infallible at this point. It's a joke. So, at this point, we'll see what happens here. We'll see. Yeah, let me look at that. Because, again, I appreciate you pulling that out. Neo, what did you say? The SPY? Again, I'll go to this because I know you're studying the past. December pattern. Mid-December. Oh, yeah, the higher low pulls back, chop top into January. See, this is the thing we talk about, like post-OPEX turnaround Tuesday, right? Well, there was your Monday. There was your Tuesday. That was the kind of retest a little bit. It could be choppy. And this is the thing I worry about, right? Are we going to see that at the high? So I'm glad you reminded me to look at that. Could this be the top? Got to bounce. Take on, man. Take care, Eric. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, materials. Let's go look at some. Let's dig deep, right? XBI. Man, what is going on with bios? Okay, well, they're not literally leading. They've been stuck in the chop terror zone. Told y'all, leave this alone. I mean, again, I think there's just, you don't have to rack your brain. Financials. Talk about them pulling back last week. Look what happens. Get back up near the highs. This looks broken, y'all. I'm telling you. You had your broadening pattern. Now you have a lower high. Goldman Sachs. I mean, some of these names just look really bad. And again, if you go and talk to any banker, and they're worried for their jobs. They are absolutely worried for their jobs. Here's Morgan Stanley hits the top, backs off, making a lower high, question mark. JP Morgan. We talked about this one bouncing when it referenced the 50-day. What did it do? 2-day range on the 50-day. Rallies back. That ain't near the highs, right? What else you want to look at, huh? Goldman? Yeah, duh. Now we talked about this holding down in the 340s potentially because it was support. That's not looking good. That looks very distributive. We'll see what happens here in a little bit. So financials, not so hot. Not so hot right now. Solar. Oh, thank God took some profits on this. Comes right back, making a lower high maybe. I don't know. ENPH, I still think this thing is busted dog crap. Right? I really think this thing is busted dog crap at this point. So at this point, good luck. You know, it's like, all right, it makes you feel better about everything. Sedge, now we talked about this one's acting a little better. See what happens. You're getting back into the zone. Not going to say it, auto zone. There you go. First Solar, thank God you took some profits. I know didn't hit 161 to a T. But now here you go. I posted this in today. I'm like, man, that's a fun little back test of the trend line. Maybe fill this gap. Again, this is why I just stress people. Shorting, long, whatever. In a trader's bear market, and a bear market is a trader's market. If you don't know that, well, congratulations. You just learned something today. It's a trader's market. Some things will go high, some will go low, some things will lead, some will lag. The market will chop. The perma straight line moves are not what? Until the end of the move. It feels very end of the move-ish, right? End of the move-ish. Like think about the rubber band man theory. Pull, stretch, doesn't pull back much. Pull, stretch, pull, stretch, pull. Oh, sorry, stretch, pull. I think I messed that up. Whatever. Stretch and pull. It's not going to have much upside. That's how I look at it. GNS. This is hilarious. What's his name? Imagination. Talking about this. I was like, if you looked at the 10-minute, it got smoked in the range, and then all of a sudden it went flapping higher. 2-day range. Ha! Congrats. Again, I usually don't talk about penny stocks, but again, being in the the magic of money, mentality of money room, someone talked about that. Congratulations. Yeah, imagery. Congratulations. Again, I don't hold grudges. I don't get pissed. I was like, I think this is crap, but it was crap for like an hour, and then it went banger. As soon as I literally stopped watching it, maybe I was the bad luck for you, bud. We'll see. Congrats. That's interesting because that wick, that wick is special ed. I mean, this is your classic pump and dumper. But remember, the velocity of the higher up move usually translates into the house of pain. USO. Okay, yeah. Well, give me a second. We'll get into that. Oil. Tightening up. We'll see what happens here. China's reopening. No crap. That's been like, everyone knew that for months. We actually called that. If anyone remembers, can I get a thumbs up? Anyone remember? We talked about that almost in December. Like, these guys are not going to sustain their COVID policy. UNG. It's trying. I hope to God for some folks. Again, I've talked about it. Sometimes when the market, the trash floats last, but also, too, something that's been short for a long period of time before a market crests will get unwound. Because what? Is the value in shorting natural gas or shorting maybe you pick your favorite stock? That becomes like the ultimate question here. And that's how the market thinks sometimes too. Like if I had a huge short in UNG, I'm like, there's probably not much left on the bone. Why don't I go short something fat and sloppy and ready to get smoked cheddar? XOP, remember we talked about buying it down here, taking profits. Man, it trying to make a higher high. Here comes the next box. If I can draw today. Come on. Yeah. Come on, connect that bottom. Yep. Getting close enough for government work. We'll see what happens. Now, again, I know my man Scott wants to look at rig, so I'll get to it. I'll get to that. Remember, I traded this thing for years, and it was crap. Well, hey, look at that, apples. Nice. Tons of debt. Tons of debt. Tons of debt. But breaking out. Gosh. Man, it's crazy. Like, I think, yeah. I was going to say, what happened? It's like I used to have this chart really drawn up. I don't have anything on it because it's in this freaking penny land. Close enough. I mean, see what happens. Because if it breaks over that, it could have a little bit of pump. And, when we think of like pump, the problem is I think you're going to have some resistance up into the 7s. And now, remember, this is a bit of a straight line move. If I owned this stock, I'd probably sell covered calls. I would probably sell covered calls on this. I don't know if I would just continue to ride this. That is, again, but trade around your position. Remember, the straight line moves is when this thing gets, pulls back. Zing, pow. Zing, pow. Zinger, pow, pow. Right? Zing, pow, zing, pow. That was a zinger, pow. Do you see my point? Like, the bigger the straight line move, the more, more likely it's going to pull back. So you haven't had a break in this thing, right? It's gone from like 4 to 6.5. Well, God forbidding it goes to 100 for you. But likely probably has a pullback before it goes. That's good luck, go. Congrats on that trade. Never a hater. Can be happy for others. Not a greedy person. ExxonMobil. Hits the range highs. Interesting. I always thought we might be able to get to the monthly trend line. It's right there. Keep that in mind. PX Dizzle. Gonna end the recording soon. We'll have live chat afterwards. Getting stuck up here. Oxy. Snorting Oxy. No, just kidding. That's real tough. Because here's all these wicks. You look like you're going. And come right back. Talk about Buffett controlled. Maybe he's just like, I'm selling calls, you assholes. Let's end it on EQT. Chopping. All right. Don't really have much to say at this. I appreciate everybody. I know this is hard. If you're getting frustrated, what do you do? What do you do, right? At this point, what? Just be thoughtful. Don't assume anything, okay? I will stop the recording.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.